On today's episode, Jaden and Lucas are finishing up some body work on the panels here so that they can go off to paint. Hey Jaden, what are you doing?
Warming up some primer. Living here in Canada, and our garage isn't exactly heated by the best of ways, so this can of primer is a little cold, sitting on the shelf, and I tried putting the coat on the fender already. I didn't quite like how it sprayed. I need to spray a couple of coats of primer on, so when I sand it, it'll tell me where my high spots and low spots are, so where I need to sand more or add a little filler, because this fender is in rough shape.
So that's what the boys are doing over here. They're sanding the fenders from last year, our spare ones, because they had a rough life. And then once they're done with that, they'll head on over to the hood, because it needs some love. There's a bit of a rough last race. But we can't do any of that without our friends over here at St. Germain Auto Body. They make sure our truck and car are nice and shiny and in tip-top shape. And we wouldn't be able to take these things out on the track if they didn't look that nice. Showcase all our sponsors. And the pretty vehicles that they race. While the boys are sanding, we had a few people comment asking what Lucas's engine first started out as. So I'll give some details on that. It started out as a Honda DX390, 13 horsepower. And then when it gets sent off, there's a few things that happen. The cylinder gets bored out so that they can put a larger piston in. This governor assembly here gets pulled off so that we can get more RPMs. And then the most important part that happens is there's a aluminum connecting rod put in instead of a cast one that comes in factory. Just a tip is that the cast, when it comes from factory, it doesn't have any bearings, rod bearings, sorry. So that when the aluminum one goes in, it will have bearings. So, and the important part about the aluminum connecting rod going in is that if by chance the chain falls off and the engine spikes in RPMs, that the aluminum connecting rod is a lot more forgiving than the cast one, where in that case the cast would end up seizing, which we would not want. Well, after that little tidbit of information, we should go check and see how the boys are doing. Hi, Cam. How you boys doing?
I'm dusty. What about you?
I'm not dusty.
Well, work harder. Not paying the cookies and milk and nothing.
See, Cam's even still black. You haven't dusted him.
Probably have masks on.
Unfortunately, it's winter outside, so we cannot do this outside. Even though that's normally our preference, right, Lucas?
And before anybody goes on about getting dust in this engine, it's an old beast and it needs a complete rebuild anyway, so.
How was that decal to get off?
That decal sucks to put on and to take off. Nick, if you're watching, you better appreciate that I did that for you. But don't worry, Jerry from Tech Heat. Your sticker's going back on next year. Maybe a little bit bigger, hopefully.
That would be nice.
Can't sand the hood because I don't have the right sandpaper in stock here, so I gotta get some fresh stuff.
Well, that sounds like we're almost done for the night.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Lucas?
Time for you to get your jammies on and go snooze.
Get my jammies on and go to bed.
Hey, Jaden, now that the schedule is out, what are our plans for the 2022?
That's a tough one to answer. We're sitting here looking at the car that we have, and we know we have a decent car for Ontario car. We'd love to go back to Delaware with Delaware just having the repave and everything. But their schedule seems... The best way to put it is their schedule is a very ambitious schedule with us having to run the late model and the mini truck. It'd be pretty hectic to run the late model Friday night, get home at 2 in the morning, unload, then you go to bed for a couple hours, and you have to load up and head out to Grand Bend for the Saturday night for junior. Just makes for a long weekend. And one other option we're looking at, sponsor dependent, is the APC series has got a really appealing schedule this year, and they got an appealing payout. We're just weighing out our options for this year now. All the schedules out, our payouts are out, and with the new year we're going to pound the ground and see if we can find some new sponsors. So if you know anybody or you want to, we've got 2 badass one car and 1 truck to put your name on. And then we got a puppy dog that everybody loves at the racetrack. Ain't that right, my baby boy? With the whippet tail. So as of right now, we don't have an answer for you. We're just going to run the numbers and see what the crew wants to do, what sponsors want to do, and we'll go from there. So Lucas, what should we call it for tonight? Should we call it a night? Since we're out of sandpaper, we're waiting for primer to dry. I think Cam wants to go and have his sips of hot chocolate and get some jammies on, and we'll come out tomorrow and go back at it and get these things done and get these panels over to Jermaine Auto Body.
Well, that's it for tonight's episode. Please subscribe and don't forget to hit the bell so you get a notification when our next video is up.
Like and comment down below. Thank you for watching.